Hello, welcome to Goodnight Flagstaff. I'm Kate Rose, and I'm looking forward to reading The Hobbit because my mother read it to me when I was a kid. And my son Zengon's going to be listening along with a lot of our friends. So I hope you enjoy this, and thanks for tuning into our community story time. You can find a new chapter from one of these family-friendly books at 8 o'clock each weeknight at the Literary Center's YouTube channel and Crater Radio, the local online radio station. The previous chapters replayed on Crater Radio each weeknight about 7:30 just before a new chapter airs. And you can listen to previous Goodnight Flagstaff recordings as many times as you want on YouTube. So, if you have some catching up to do, you can do that. And we're currently reading The Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien. So, if you want to check it out and read along with us, it's available in the Hoopla app with the library. You just need a library card, and it's really easy to use. So they have lots of great books there. You can also email us if you want to join the team of readers and connect with your community through stories. All ages of readers are welcome, and the email address is goodnightflagstaff@gmail.com. GoodnightFlagstaff, all one word. So, last time we read together, the group ventured into Mirkwood Forest, where they were supposed to stay on the path. It was many days of darkness and hunger. It was made worse when they crossed the enchanted stream. Bomber fell in and fell asleep. When he finally awoke, all he wanted to talk about was food. Eventually they saw a light and chased it off the path 3 times. At the last, Bilbo got separated from the others, so let's see what happens to him next on the second half of Chapter 8 of The Hobbit. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this reading. That was one of his most miserable moments, but he soon made up his mind that it was no good trying to do anything till day came with some little light. And it was quite useless to go blundering about tiring himself out with no hope of any breakfast to revive him. So he sat himself down with his back to a tree, and not for the last time fell into thinking of his far distant hobbit hole with its beautiful pantries. He was deep in thoughts of bacon and eggs and toast and butter when he felt something touch him. Something like a strong, sticky string was against his left hand, and when he tried to move, he found that his legs were already wrapped in the same stuff, so that when he got up, he fell over. Then, the giant spider, who had been busy tying him up while he dozed, came from behind him and came at him. He could only see the thing's eyes, but he could feel its hairy legs as it struggled to wind its abominable threads round and round him. It was lucky that he had come to his senses in time. Soon he would not have been able to move at all. As it was, he had a desperate fight before he got free. He beat the creature off with his hands. It was trying to poison him to keep him quiet, as small spiders do to flies, until he remembered his sword and he drew it out. Then the spider jumped back, and he had time to cut his legs loose. After that, it was his turn to attack. The spider evidently was not used to things that carried such stings at their sides, or would have hurried away quicker. Bilbo came at it before it could disappear and struck it with his sword right in the eyes. Then it went mad and leaped and danced and flung out its legs in horrible jerks until he killed it with another stroke. Then he fell down and remembered nothing more for a long while. There was the usual dim gray light of the forest day about him when he came to his senses. The spider lay dead beside him, and his sword blade was stained black. Somehow the killing of the giant spider all alone by himself in the dark, without the help of the wizard, or the dwarfs, or anyone else, made a great difference to Mr. Baggins. He felt a different person, and much fiercer and bolder in spite of an empty stomach, as he wiped his sword on the grass and put it back into its sheath. I'll give you a name, he said to it. I shall call you Sting. After that, he set out to explore. The forest was grim and silent, but obviously he had first of all to look for his friends, who were not likely to be far off, unless they had been made prisoners by the elves, or worse things. Bilbo felt that it was unsafe to shout, and he stood a long while wondering in what direction the path lay, and in what direction he should go first to look for the dwarfs. Oh, why did we not remember Bjorn's advice and Gandalf's? He lamented. What a mess we're in now. If only I wish it was we. It is horrible being all alone. In the end, he made as good a guess as he could at the direction from which the cries for help had come in the night. And by luck, well, he was born with a good share of it. He guessed more or less right, as you will see. Having made up his mind, he crept along as cleverly as he could. Hobbits are clever at quietness, especially in woods, as I've already told you. Also, Bilbo had slipped on his ring before he started. That's why the spiders neither saw nor heard him coming. He had picked his way stealthily for some distance when he noticed a place of dense black shadow ahead of him, black even for that forest, like a patch of midnight that had never been cleared away. As he drew nearer, he saw that it was made by spider webs, one behind and over entangled with another. Suddenly he saw, too, that there were spiders, huge and horrible, sitting in the branches above him, and, ring or no ring, he trembled with fear lest they should discover him. Standing behind a tree, he watched a group of them for some time, and then, in the silence and stillness of the woods, he realized that these loathsome creatures were speaking one to another. Their voices were sort of thin, creaking and hissing, but he could make out many of the words that they said. They were talking about the dwarfs. It was a sharp struggle, but worth it, one said. Or nasty sick things they have, to be sure, but I'll wager there's good juice inside. They'll make fine eating when they're hung a bit, said another. Don't hang 'em too long, said a third. They're not as bad as they might be, being feed nothing too well of late, I should guess. Good mercy, hissed a fourth. Kill 'em now and hang 'em dead for a while. They're dead now, I warrant, said the first. That they are not. I saw one is struggling just now, just coming round again, I should say, after a beautiful sleep, I show you. With that, one of the fat spiders ran along a rope till it came to a dozen bundles hanging in a row from a high branch. Bilbo was horrified, now that he noticed them for the first time dangling in the shadows, to see a dwarfish foot sticking out at the bottom of some of the bundles, or here and there in the tip of a nose, or a bit of a beard or hood. To the fattest of these bundles the spider went. It's spoiled bumber, I bet, thought Bilbo, and he nipped hard at the nose that stuck out. There was a muffled yelp inside, and a toe shot up and kicked the spider straight and hard. There was life in Bomber still. There was a noise like the kicking of a flabby football, and the enraged spider fell off the branch, only catching itself with its own thread just in time. The others laughed. You were quite right, they said. The meat's alive and kicking. I'll soon put an end to that, hissed the angry spider, climbing back onto the branch. And that's the end of Chapter 8, Flies and Spiders. And tune in next time to see what's going to happen. Good night, Flagstaff. Sweet dreams.